Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Gary Crenshaw, the City of Lebanon Mayor, for an update on what's going on with the City of Lebanon for our Ask the Mayor segment. A whole lot of stuff to talk about after we got started. We have a whole list, right?
Right.
Let's start off with some good news. We have two big things that are some good news that we want to talk about. And one is about a Lebanon resident. As we're taping this, it's Friday, excuse me, March 15th, and the Marion County Lady Knights are going to be in Bowling Green this afternoon, competing again with the state tournament, their second game there, hopefully going to be winning that and moving on even further. But one of the headlines of the team is Michaela Epps, a Lebanon resident, who has been receiving a lot of honors recently.
Right, she was just named, it came out yesterday or the day before, that she was named Kentucky's Miss Basketball, and she was also a McDonald's All-American, along with Miss Gooden. And so we're very, very proud of those two young ladies, and I anticipate the city doing a little something to recognize those individuals a little bit later.
Great. And hopefully we'll have even more to celebrate at the end of the weekend.
Well, we hope so.
Yes, we'll wait and see what happens there,
Right.
but it's looking good so far.
So far, they're looking great.
Yes, fantastic. So that's one of the exciting news. The other one is a grant that you received as well, right?
Right. We just received a very substantial grant to upgrade the fire protection equipment that the firefighters wear. And we've been pursuing that for quite some time. And thanks to several individuals who helped us get that grant, we're very appreciative of it. It'll actually help the firefighters to be able to more safely enter those areas that are hot and with smoke, with regard to their breathing apparatus.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So have you received the monies yet, or the equipment, or is that
No, we haven't received it. We've been notified that we've received the grant. We've already got the equipment spec'd. So depending on the timeline of when we know we're going to get the money, we will go ahead and order the equipment. But we've got to make sure that the equipment doesn't come in before we get the money. That might be a tragedy.
Exactly. What size grant are we talking about?
It's right around $150,000.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to get that bill without the money in your bank.
Right, right.
So, okay, great. Now, also, as I said, it's March 15th and we're recording this, so spring is just around the corner.
Right.
And that means a lot more people are going to be heading out towards the Graham Memorial Park.
Right.
So I know there's a lot going on out there, and one of the things is the batting cages, right?
Right. The city's just completing work on the batting cages that are out there. They are probably the best batting cages that any community has in the state of Kentucky. And they are already scheduled for use. We have a list a mile long of people that want to use them. Not only that, but there are other school systems that are talking to us about trying to schedule those. We've got a little bit of work left to do on getting some concrete poured out there so that people don't track mud and stuff into the turf grass that is inside the building. But that's exciting, and I always get real excited when the weather starts breaking and spring gets here, because the activity out at the park, I mean, it's just like a beehive out there with all the soccer and the baseball and all those things, and watching the kids get outside the house, for the year, and it's just a great thing. I love our park, and Marion County ought to be proud of it because it's well taken care of. And hopefully, we're going to have park-wide Wi-Fi at the park this year.
Good.
I can't promise you when it'll be installed or how soon, but it's something we've been working on so that whatever part of the park you're in, if you want to sit down under a tree and read a book or surf the internet on your media device, that you can do that, and we feel like that's an important asset that we're trying to do for the residents of the community, so that people like me who are getting a little bit older and who are out of shape, at least we get to the park and expand our minds a little bit.
Exactly, that's great. Now, with the expansion I know that took place a couple years ago, how's that working out with the city? Is it
with regard to the park.
Yeah.
It's going very well. We're in the stage now where we do things a little bit by little bit. For anybody that's been around the park, you've noticed all the little yellow things sticking up out of the ground. Well, inside that there's a tree, and we have replanted the old section of Grand Memorial Park with new trees. And we've still got some things to do. I know one of the areas that we need to work on is our sign that says, as you're coming down South Proctor Knott, you come to the curves.
Mm-hmm.
Our sign over there where it says Grand Memorial Park, a couple of the trees over there were hit hard by the ice storm, and one of them has done very well and the other one hadn't. It looks a little odd, so we've got a few little dressing up things for the spring to do. But you know, I remember used to when I ran out at the park, I remember when we first planted the trees around the track, and they looked like the ones that are planted there now, and now they're mature, and I'm thinking, you know, the years are going by.
Yep.
But the park is a beautiful place, and our desire and our goal is that we continue to upgrade it so that your children, my grandchildren, when they get to be our age, it'll be a luscious, beautiful place to spend some time.
Fantastic. Okay. Now, also, we want to talk a little bit about, I know that you and some other cities in the area are kind of at odds a little bit with the EPA right now, with the Division of Water on some issues.
Yes, for those of you who are not aware of it, the City of Lebanon is required to test the water that we drink all the time and how it's processed down at the sewer plant and the water plant. And we test all the time, and it runs into several $1,000s a month. And we do the testing because it's required by the regulations that are in place now. The Kentucky Division of Water and to some extent the EPA regs that guide them are forcing a lot of communities to start testing at a level that right now there's no testing facilities in the state of Kentucky to do the test that they want. And it's really absurd. The water is healthy. We have never failed a test. And to have this extra regulation put on us is onerous. It's not useful. And it's going to cost communities like Lebanon even more money over time. And as you're well aware, the more they charge us, eventually the taxpayers wind up paying for all of it. And it's not a good thing. We've contacted our legislators about it. We have discussed it, and we have sent letters from our engineering companies, and so we're fighting that battle along with other communities in Kentucky. But it's to me it's another thing where the government regulation is forcing small communities to do things that really doesn't change anything. But somewhere along the line, somebody's dreamed up these new figures that we have to reach those, and it's really a burden that shouldn't be placed on us.
So what's the process there? I mean, are you required to do it until you get notified otherwise?
Well, like I said, we've had some hearings with some of our, not just our legislators, but some of the people who write the regulations and who enforce them. So far, we've not had any luck. It appears that the enforcement of those regulations will be in effect sometime fairly soon. But we will continue to fight this as best we can. Unfortunately, there are some agencies that seem like they are a law unto themselves, and that we don't get much attention paid to us. So we'll continue, and we'll do everything we can to fight that, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Any idea on the additional cost that this would be?
Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Okay. All right. So we'll keep up to date on what's going on with that. Also, as we said, with spring coming, there are some other issues that might come with the roads out there, some potholes situations.
Yeah, you know, as spring comes along, especially in March and April, we start having a lot of showers. With the thawing of the streets and then the expansion due to the warmer weather, the streets expand and contract and expand and contract, and that results in potholes. And so we're preparing for that, and we would just ask you to be cautious about driving especially during the month of April, when everything starts warming up pretty good and we get a lot more water, is just to be careful about your driving so that you don't damage your tires and wheels in your car. But we know that's out there, and we're preparing for that.
Also, you just had a recent audit performed, correct?
Right. Every year the City of Lebanon is audited, and we're in fiscal year 13 right now, and the audit covers fiscal year 2012, which ended in September 30th. Well, for the city it had been July 1st of 2012. And a copy of that audit is available to the public, but the long and the short of it is that the City of Lebanon's in very good shape. We have budgeted and planned our money in a manner that is conducive to the public good. And those aren't just my words, those are the words of the auditor and of the audit report. There's always a couple of things in audits that nobody's perfect, and we're always having to keep upgrading and fixing things. And so there's a couple of things in the audit that we need to do a little bit better on. But overall, when asked directly, the auditor said the City of Lebanon was in great shape financially.
Good.
And something I'll tell the public, we have all the debt that the City of Lebanon has will be satisfied within 5 years. Half of that debt will be satisfied in 4 years. Things like the park expansion, the expansion of Center Square, the City of Lebanon aerial fire truck that we had to buy 6 years ago. So all of that, and the sewer plant will the upgrade and expansion down there, which was several $1 million, will be done. So all the debt that the city has within the next 4 and 5 years will be paid. Now, with that said, there are things that we will continuously need. We need to expand our fire department and build a firehouse on the southern end of the city. With Walmart out there and the proposed 80-unit housing development and the business expansion out that way, we feel like we need to put a fire substation on that end of town, where that we would staff it with, we'd have some fire units in place so that the firefighters could go out there and those units would be there. Along with that, we have advertised in the last 2 weeks for additional firefighters. So that's something, if anybody is interested in being a member of the fire department, if they would contact the City of Lebanon. So with all those things going on, we need a new city hall. And I realize some people may say, well, what's wrong with the one we got? The problem with our city hall now is that we share it with the water company. And we've run out of space for storing records. We have nowhere to put them. We don't have anywhere to put our file cabinets. Everything we're doing, actually the city council chambers are not big enough, and at the same time the water company could use that space. So there are things down the road that we will continue to have debt for, but the major debt that we've had, the projects that my administration and the city councils have put together will be paid off in a few short years, and we're very happy about that.
Great. Now, speaking of budgeting, you have getting ready for your next year's budget.
Right. Usually the 3rd or 4th week of March, no later than the 1st of April, the city administrator and myself start preparing the budget. And that process is that we take last year's budget, the city administrator goes through it, looks at the additional cost in different departments, looking at the save cost in different departments. I sit down and review that with the city administrator. And then usually in the 1st of May, I bring the city council together as a committee of the whole. We sit down and work on the budget together. And then prior to July the 1st, I have to present the budget to the public and to the city council for their approval for the following fiscal year. And I don't anticipate any great changes or anything coming up in the budget that we haven't dealt with in the past.
So the firehouse and the new city hall won't be in the next budget?
Probably, that's hard for me to say because I'll present that need to the city council, and it'll be up to them to determine if we have the money and to assess that need. And I'll respect their decision, but sooner or later these decisions can't be put off.
Right.
Because the firehouse, for instance, as the city expands, our rating that affects the insurance in town gets reevaluated. And as the city expands, we have to make sure we have appropriate fire coverage for all that expansion. And sooner or later, we're not going to have it. And so my goal is, let's be a little proactive. Let's look at what we're doing. And we've talked about it among the city council just a little bit. They understand that there's going to be a need out there. It's just whether we need to do something now or wait till a little bit down the road. So that'll be up to them as I present it.